Hello and welcome. Aquarister here, back with another video, and today is another loot run. Now, we are over in Shattered Mountain, and I have a specific loot run that I like to run, and I have run it quite a bit in the past, but I've taken quite a bit of a break from it because the value of Shattered just hasn't been as good for me. But since the addition of the Hardened Crystal to Shattered Mountain as one of the territories that it can drop, I decided to bring back this loot run and show all of you guys today. As always, before we fully get into the video, I do just want to say if this video helps you out, or if you just like it, please drop it a like. It really does help me out a lot. And if you want to see more content like this, including more loot runs, build videos, stuff like that, definitely subscribe to the channel so you know when those videos go up. And if you do want to be notified, make sure to hit the bell notification so you are actually notified when those videos do go live. I'm also streaming throughout the week on Twitch as well as YouTube, so definitely stop by whichever platform you prefer. Say hello, lurk, anything like that. We would love to have you. But let's get into today's video. Alright, so to get us started, we are actually looking at Mountain Rise here. So we'll go through the map really briefly, and I'll show you where you might be able to even get some more loot if you want, depending on how far you want to go with the loot run. But I'm going to first show you just what I usually run. So first we're going to be going here to Spilaio Cavern. We're going to run through here. I do have a specific route. There are a couple of chests that are kind of off to the side, but I do skip some, mainly because by the time I actually finish the whole loot run, if I want, I can just re-loop the entire run. But there's quite a few chests that we're going to have along the way, and in this particular loot run, we do actually have to kill quite a few ads, so it does take a little bit longer just because we have to do that. So we're going to be starting here. I'll show you the route through there. Once we're done there, we actually go near this cave here, and you can drop down onto Pullus. We're going to run Pullus, and then we follow this road over to Vehemence, and then down to Iratus. My pronunciations may be butchering all of those, but that is the general start of where our run is going to be, and then we end up ending here. Now, you can definitely go down to Caminus if you want. Caminus is where I actually level up my weapon XP, but that is another spot. I'm not going to go through all of Caminus today because that is a little bit harder for a solo to run, but I may do a Caminus video down the road for those who do want to go and run that. But Caminus is an extra that you can add in there. Another one, if you want to go a little bit out of the way, is Lapsus. And then you can also drop down and farm everything down in this trench down here. And there is more loot, but again, I'm just going to show you my main loot run today. And then I just wanted to show you some of these other options if you do want to extend the route past what I'm doing today. Okay, let's get the run started here. So right out of Mountain Rise, we're just going to follow that road south and head into this area over here. So like I said, on this run, we are going to actually have to take care of quite a few different enemies because there's no real good way of making them retreat while also, you know, making the most time out of the run. So we are just going to have to clear some of this as we move and talk with the loot run. But with the addition of the Hardened Crystal, it really does make this run very, very worthwhile because if you pull one, it's pretty easy money for you. There are other craft mods that you can pull, and then of course you can also be pulling some of the trophy mats if you don't have those, or if you do want to try selling them. Trophy mats just don't retain their value for very long because of the fact that once someone has it, they're not really buying more of them. We'll see if we can get this chest before we get hit. There we go. And this is a new fire staff build that I am beginning to work on. So we'll see how it does for this run here. So far, it's not too bad. So once we get that stockpile, we're going to head up the hill here. Go over this way, and there's a little chest over here. Now, like I said, there are going to be a couple chests that if you've ran this area, or if you look at a map of all the chests, you'll notice that I do actually skip a couple, and that's just because they are a little bit more out of the way. And really, there's enough loot, and it takes long enough for us to run through the run that we should be able to loop back and be able to redo the run in that amount of time that it would take us, you know, to be going all the way out of the way and all that. You could just redo the whole run and be just fine. So from here, we're going to keep moving. And I'll kind of show you the map. We're just following that bottom side there. So like I said, we do have to take out quite a bit of stuff, so having a decent build, whether it's a healer build to keep you alive or a DPS build to be able to kill stuff easily, I do recommend bringing something decent. Compared to the Reekwater run, the Reekwater run definitely is a bit easier to run than this. So we're just going to keep moving here. And there's one little chest over here that we'll grab. All right, grab this and move on. So then from here, we're going to keep following this bottom edge. Keep on moving. And there are mithril spawns all throughout here, as you can see. Then here we're going to take a right. There is a little bit of loot to the left. I think it's just one little cache. So again, I go to the right because then this leads us into the next area that we're going to. And come down here. If you do want to farm mithril and just kind of sit in the area, you could definitely sit here, farm mithril. If you're here for an hour, you know, you could re-get all the supply caches as well. This actually is a pretty good route for more than just the loot itself. So then from here, we'll grab this ancient chest. Now that cache that's above us there, we can get by climbing up over here, actually. So we should be able to climb up onto this branch. Maybe. Unless this guy is going to bother us now. I'm surprised this actually respawned this quickly. Normally this is on a normal cooldown, but today he's respawning right away. Alright. Like I said, you should be able to climb up onto this branch typically. There we go. You kind of have to hug that left side. Climb up over there, get up top. And then you can get this really quick. And we just move on. So once you get that, then I'm going to go up this hill here to the left. Up the stairs, there's going to be one more cache to the left here. And then we move on. So now when we come out here and go down these steps, you can see all the mithril spawns. There's mithril all over this area. You're going to come down here, there's one little cache right here, and then we move on to the next area. Just like that. And at the end of the video, I will try to show what all I got. I actually cleaned out my inventory specifically so I could do that. I know it's very rare for my inventory to be, you know, gearless in it, but I figured for this video I will show at the end. I had a couple people asking about it, said it might be fun to kind of show that at the end, so we'll do it this time, see if you guys like it. So from here, once we leave this area, you just need to follow this road, and if you just go kind of, you know, you don't have to go all the way to that cave, but if you kind of use that as your reference point, you'll see the spikes up there and like those spikes down there. See that? Those kind of tips? And that is going to lead you into the next area that we're going to. Usually I'll come down here. There is a death mote and a small cache right on the corner here, so we're going to grab that first. And then move this way. So now we're going to follow this back road here and get this first house. Go right in here, grab this. And then on to the next building. So there's only one in here. Usually I'll take this guy out. And then we go upstairs and there's gonna be one up here. And this is gonna be provision stockpile. Now I don't always get all the provisions in Shattered, so you can definitely skip them if you'd like. There's nothing overly valuable in the provisions in Shattered. But since we're running past them, I go for them anyways, just for the extra ingredients. Okay. Go in this house, we'll get this one. And then this is a little Ori spawn. It's not a ton, but there is a little bit there. So if you want to farm up a little bit of orichalcum, you can definitely do that. this guy out. And I'm not going to be farming any of the resources today other than maybe some moats. Just to keep the video moving along here. So we're going to have a little cache down here, and then we actually have another one up top. So we'll grab this one. Go up top here. So yeah, the Shadow Run definitely can take a little bit longer just because of having to kill a lot of the ads and clear the areas. So once we grab this, then we are done with this first area. So next we are going to go over to these two little areas over there. So I will meet you there, but before I actually go here, that tent right up here is actually going to be one more little cache that we can grab. So right in here, you can grab this cache and then keep on moving. So we'll grab this and then I'll meet you at the next location. All right, we made it to the next spot. Just had to run down the road a little ways. So for this area, I do find that it can be easier to group everything before you actually go and start collecting the loot. So not the entire area, but you'll see that these little like corrupt camps are spaced out in a way where it's like two halves of them. And so usually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kite a bunch of this stuff together, because if we can take this stuff out now, just makes it easier, but do be careful. It can be very easy to gather too much here, as you can see. That's also why I grab a tent. So we grabbed a little too much on that one. So make sure you do have a tent, because that can happen. This is a new build that we're trying to work on, so it's not the greatest for this, but we can definitely make this work. So we just need to pull a little bit less together, not get cornered like that. But it does happen. You will have moments, especially if you're using a build that you weren't maybe intending for stuff like this. But it is not working that bad. So we just need to take it a little bit slower here. I know it can be exciting to just group all that stuff up. I usually do love doing that, but man, I can't do it with this build. All right. Let's take it a little slow here. We're going to take this stuff out in sections rather than the entire area. Now, if you do have like a bruiser build or something, or a build that's really good with mobility or grouping, you could probably group this whole area and complete it, unlike me. But yeah, it happens. It is not the first time that I've died in this area, and it won't be the last time. So then once we grab that stockpile, I usually go across, drop on down, grab this one. There's nothing in that house. Some of the areas, if you go to some of the other like little camps, occasionally there will actually be caches behind here. I don't remember exactly which ones all have them, but I do know that there are a few that have some caches behind, like this little shack to the left specifically. And that's outside of like my run. We'll double check the other area that we're going to. But I do know that there's another one of these little camps that does actually have a cache behind there. I just cannot remember. So now what I do is every single one, I'll check behind it just to be safe. All right, so once we've done that area, we go up top, we grab this cache, and then you can actually just jump over right here. Much, much easier when we didn't group that entire side together, huh? Okay. Grab the provisions. Maybe. Nope. This guy's gonna prevent it. And like I said, the provisions in Shattered aren't overly valuable, so don't go too much out of your way to try to get them unless you really do need like the salt, or if you need more milk, anything like that. But if you're trying to farm provisions for money, Shattered isn't the best for it. You definitely could still make some money off of it, I'm sure, but at that point I'd rather just go and farm up more sugar in Ebon Scale or something. Alright, so we're gonna clear that, grab the cache up here, and then I like to keep running along the top. Grab the cash here. And then this one, you can actually jump directly into the top window if you jump off the top right at it. And the reason I do that is because then I can grab the supply stockpile up top. And then what we're going to do is jump out the window. And there's a cache down here. So we'll grab this one. There's none in the bottom floor of the house in here. And then if you cut around this way, we're going to loop all the way around. That. The reason why we're going over this way is because there's actually that provision stock or provisions crate in there. So again, I don't usually go out of my way, but for the run, I'm going to show you guys at least the provisions since it's kind of right in the middle here. And then from there, you can go over here and you can actually jump directly up here. And sometimes, like, if you skip that provisions in that little hut and you jump up here, then it takes the ads a little bit longer to kite over to you. So that's why I like to do that little jump up sometimes. We'll take this guy out. All right. We'll get this last cache for this area and then on to the last spot. We'll jump over the edge here. And then we are going to go across the road and hit up the next spot. So these camps are laid out very, very similarly. The loot is in similar spots, but like the type of chest can be different. So you might find like a provisions in one spot and a supply in another. But we are pretty much going to run the same route. There's just a couple of changes on this one. So we'll start here. Go in here. All right, clear that out. Go up top. So see, this was a stockpile on the other side. It's a crate here. And then same deal, we're gonna go across. And then we're gonna get the cache up top. Drop on down. And same deal, let's go check behind this house just to be safe. Because again, I have seen some caches behind some of these. You know, there are multiple camps like this around Shattered. Like the other one that I was saying that you can go, it's a little bit out of the way. But this route that I run is a little bit quicker. Obviously, it's shorter than the Reekwater run. Because I don't really run the Shattered as often because there's not quite as much value, like I said. So you're not going to find me here very frequently. But for this video, because again, a lot of us are trying to farm up that Harden crystal, it is nice to have at least one run that isn't an elite run that you can run here. All right, so we're going to grab the cache here. Move on. Grab this one. And like I said, most of these camps are set up very, very similarly. So we're kind of following that same route. There's just some minor differences that you'll find between them. But in general, you can go pretty much the same route. And then just kind of, if it's an area that maybe I'm not showing today, then you can go and check all the extra houses and stuff. This one, same deal. We'll try to jump in the top. Now this one I do believe has the chest in the bottom. So we got that. We have the alchemy stockpile. So the other side had the cache on the outside. This one I believe is downstairs. Yep, right underneath the stairs actually. So we'll grab that. And go out here. There is another cache inside of here, but we're gonna kite this stuff. And then see there's another one out here. So we're gonna kite all this stuff together. All right. Figured that out. Then we'll go and grab these. And these camps really are pretty straightforward. There's not too much to them. Really, you can just kind of explore. It's just I kind of try to find routes that are a little more efficient for me so I can just kind of cruise through them. Then from here, like I said, on the other side, we should be able to jump right up here. Maybe not on this one. So this one we will go around. A little bit trickier to climb up on that spot. Whoops. Missed the tether. Alright. Grab this cache. Then we will go over here and grab this one. Right here. All right, so that is really like my main route. I know it's a bit shorter than the Reekwater run, but it is something that I like to run. Now, let's go back to the map over here. We'll get to a little bit safer spot. And we will take a look at the map. So obviously, like I said, it's a pretty short route running through here. Now, if you are going to be farming along the way, it will take you quite a bit longer because as you can see, there's a lot of mithril ore. But moving through here, going up to, all these different camps, really, there is a decent amount of loot. But you could also add in the Lapsus as well as Caminus and still have that opportunity. Now, there are other camps way up out of the way, a few over here, but there's really not a ton of loot in Shattered outside of Merc and Mines. So that's where this has been the route that I've liked to run. I know it is a bit shorter, and like I said, you can definitely add in some of these other zones or other areas and drop down into the trench. It's just, it gets to be a lot more work when you start to do some of these extra areas. And in that time, I would rather go do something else, come back, farm it again, go do something else, farm it again. You could even alternate between your different loot runs. So you could do Shattered, go do Reekwater run. By that time, go back to Shattered. And you can create this rotation of different runs that you want to go through. Now, looking at the loot that we got, it wasn't crazy. The gear score we know isn't going to be that great. We did pull 1,694 pair of boots. Those are actually pretty good boots too. So we did pull, some gear, some name stuff. You're going to pull the Corrupt Progenitor stuff at some of these points. As far as the craft mods go, we got a couple of weapon mods, some attribute mods, stuff like that. So the loot itself isn't crazy every single run. The Reekwater run is a lot longer, obviously, so you do have a lot more opportunity for loot. But Reekwater has a lot more areas that are heavier or more dense in those chests. So Shattered can be a little bit trickier. It is a shorter run, I know, but you can definitely add more to it like I've been saying. So definitely take it, however you want, however long you want to spend in Shattered. But like I said, the route that I go is I do the shorter run, I'll go do something else, and then I'll come back to this run. And that seems to work really, really well for me, especially since I do have quite a few different loot runs that I like to run. All right, that is going to do it for today's loot run video. Now, I know, like I said, it is a little bit shorter compared to the Reekwater run, but if you do get into that rotation of doing like Shattered, then Reek, then maybe Ebonscale, and just start doing this rotation of different loot runs, then you can actually cut down some of the runs. So the Reekwater run is an absolute full run. I will do that if I am just, wanting to just stick to one territory. Otherwise, like I also said in that Reekwater loot video, which I will put in the description below, by the way. But like I said in that video, I will then sometimes pick out like 3 different areas. So let's say we go and do Shattered Mountain. Then I might go do just a portion of the Reekwater run. Depending on how long that all takes me, then I might go back to Shattered, or I might go do a sugar run in Ebon Scale. So I like to go into these rotations of different zones, farming different resources, materials, anything like that. And it just kind of keeps me more engaged within each individual loot run in each territory. And then I can pick and choose where I want to go for that. So that's how I like to do it. That's how I've kind of developed some of these loot runs, is just so I can keep rotation rolling. But definitely see what works best for you. But I hope this video helped you out. I hope you did like this loot run video. I do have more planned for different territories as well, just to give people more and more options for loot and to show kind of what I like to run for loot. But that is going to do it for today's video, so until next time, I'll see you guys later.